language arts teacher, author of the YA series The Lucia Chronicles and the YA series The Elementals, with book 1 Army of Fire coming out on just recently, October 25th. So this is a YA book review for book 2 in the Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. This is Siege and Storm. So I'm going to keep this brief because I want to avoid any spoilers, and I'm already about 150 pages in at the time of this recording into Ruin and Rising. So we return to the Grisha world, and Alina has escaped the Darkling, and her and Mal are kind of at sea, and we're introduced to some new characters, including the captain of the ship that they're on. And then later we're also introduced to another new character named Nikolai, and let me just tell you, Nikolai is very funny, and the banter between Mal and Nikolai makes me laugh out loud, and it's even better in Ruin and Rising. In this book, Alina is journeying to get the second amplifier from the sea dragon, and she's starting to wonder about alliances and who to trust, and can she trust anybody. And her and Mal are kind of growing apart as she becomes hungry for more power, but her power isn't like the Darkling's, and her power is in that she wants to take down the Darkling, but it's almost like the same kind of hunger, and as the series says, like draws to like. The Darkling is kind of absent in this book a little bit, which is kind of a bummer because I really like him. And like, you hate him, but you like him. It's like he's a perfect villain, and Leigh Bardugo did such a good job with him. Actually, all of her male characters are extremely well written, and Alina is too, because she's not a weak, whiny protagonist. She's a believable protagonist with strengths and weaknesses. Like I said, not to be confused with being a weak protagonist. She's just human. Well, she's not human, but you know what I mean. So the Darkling does appear a little bit, but he kind of takes a back seat, and this is more about Alina and, like I said, who can she trust, who can she not trust, and about her relationship with Mal, and you know, they kind of are growing closer and then they're growing apart, and you know, what are her motives, and she's beginning to question her own motives, her own hunger for power, and is she doing the right thing, and is it for the good of Ravka, or is it for her own selfish needs, kind of like how the Darkling says, oh, it's for the good of Ravka, but really it's for his own needs. So this book is very good. There's new characters that are amazing. The action is fast-paced. A lot of the book is spent at sea, so there's a lot of ship terminology in here. But eventually they do make their way back to Ravka, and that is kind of how the book ends. So as we enter into Ruin and Rising, Mal and Alina are kind of still in the same situation, and Alina begins her hunt for the third amplifier. So this is my review of Siege and Storm. I gave it, I think, like 4.5 stars, but just bumped it up to 5 on Goodreads since they don't do halves. I'm really enjoying this series, and so far the third book is definitely my favorite because I'll talk more about that when I finish it and review it, but when I went to an author event for Leigh Bardugo, she was very funny, and I feel like because it's her third book, and maybe she's was more confident, you know, she has 2 other books under her belt that a publishing house wanted and that readers wanted, so I feel like even more of her sense of humor is coming across in each book, and I really want to know what's going to happen between, you know, the Darkling and Mal and Alina, and there's this new character, Nikolai, and I want to know how it all turns out for them, and if Alina's going to get that third amplifier, and if she does, what's going to happen. So this is Siege and Storm. All the books flow together, you know, they pick up where the previous one left off, more or less. So if you liked Shadow and Bone, you will definitely like this, and if you haven't checked out the Grisha trilogy, I really think that you need to. It will definitely be worth it. And then we all happy reading and happy writing.